Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, this is Camille from sunny California, and you're listening to the Coffee Chat with Camille show, which is a podcast series that interviews various guests about real-life topics for people who love to learn. Hello, happy Friday. This is your host, Camille. Today, our topic of discussion, is how to become wealthy and stay healthy with Zachary Parker Harris. Zachary is an entrepreneur and mastermind of Masterminds. Zachary Parker, a.k.a. Parker, started his career landing his dream job working for a Fortune 100 technology company doing operations and strategy. After getting to know the executives there, he asked the advice they gave their children that he realized he must choose a different path. He started a mastermind modeled after Benjamin Franklin and over time became his business and mission. He started a mastermind modeled after Benjamin Franklin, and that over time became his business and mission. Today he leads Junto Global, which has served thousands of entrepreneurs to connect with like-minded peers and build relationships, health, and business they deeply desired. For the audience, from our guests, you can go to Junto, which is JUNTO.global. The link exposes you, the listeners, to a mastermind of curated entrepreneurs who challenge and support each other's personal and professional success. All right, and so now we're going to Hi, Zachary. How are you?
Hi, Camille. I'm excellent. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so happy to have you as a guest. So now we're going to get into the interview. What is a mastermind?
A mastermind is when two or more minds come together in the spirit of harmony to accomplish a common goal.
And then, thank you. What mental models are useful for an entrepreneur?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think there's hundreds of mental models that are useful for entrepreneurs as well as just individuals. The one that started my journey with mental models was in Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He mentions a mental model called Circle of Influence, Circle of Concern, where essentially, there's a big circle of everything we're concerned about, and then there's a much smaller circle within that of the things that we can influence. And he argues that successful people spend 80 or 90% of their time in their circle of influence versus their circle of concern.
Wow. And then were you done? Because I was going to go to the next question.
Yeah, I mean, feel free. I think that's such a powerful one. It's a good reminder for me too, as there's just so much going on in the world of that I can be concerned about, but what can I influence, and spending my mental and emotional energy there.
Perfect. How can someone prepare to be an entrepreneur?
2 things come to mind. I think the first one is learning to enjoy adding value to other people. And then the second one is really knowing ourselves and building habits that support our effectiveness, productivity, efficiency.
Okay. And then how does an entrepreneur identify the bottleneck in their business?
Yeah, I think, I think some entrepreneurs can do that on their own. We have a mental model that we use to help entrepreneurs think accurately about their business and their life, their personal development, their mindset. I think it can also be really challenging to do alone, and that's where a mastermind can come in. For me, my wife is I have a mastermind with my wife. She helps me understand what my limiting beliefs are from time to time as well. But surrounding ourselves with people that we can be vulnerable with and really bring our challenges and opportunities to the table, that have our best interests in mind and really understand what we're going through. That comes up for me from that question.
Yes. And then how does personal development relate to business success?
In my experience, 60 to 80% of business problems are actually, mindset or personal development issues, limiting beliefs, lack of alignment around vision. So getting to root cause of what the real problem is can be a challenge to do. And that's why having people to bounce ideas off of, peers, mentors, can be incredibly valuable. I wish I had a more simple answer for it, but I think it can be a complicated challenge to break through. But having goals, having a plan, and then reflecting on the progress towards that over time will start opening up clarity on what is holding someone back. And, is that a business issue or a personal development issue? I think it depends on the individual.
Got it. Thank you. And then what are the most important habits for an entrepreneur?
I think it depends on the entrepreneur and their business and their industry in some ways. But, a big part of entrepreneurship is facing rejection, facing failure in term, and that being the majority of the time, right? Like a good salesman fails 70% of the time, 80% of the time. And that's very different than the education system, which promotes that, getting that A, having 90 to 100% success. So being able to move forward in the face of rejection while also still believing in ourselves and loving ourselves and, believing that we're worthy, I think is a really important paradox. And I think there's a number of other habits, but getting data is an important aspect for entrepreneurs too, is measuring things, tracking things, and then reflecting back on those metrics to look for, clues for success or understanding of what's working and what's not working and what really moves the needle are important habits that come up.
Okay. How does an entrepreneur create work-life balance?
I think I'm more on the work-life harmony bandwagon than the work-life balance bandwagon personally. I think it looks different for different people, different entrepreneurs, and at different points in their journey. But I think it starts with awareness of themselves and how they're spending their time and what's really important to them. And that evolves over time. I firmly believe that health is an important part of that conversation. So I think it's difficult to create any type of harmony or balance or long-term success without really dialing in our health first. And then whether it's an entrepreneur or an executive, I think, our family can be either the ultimate gift or the ultimate sacrifice. So that comes up for me as well.
Excellent, excellent. How do you manage, or how do we manage the noise in life?
By shutting it off. Really limiting the noise and the number of inputs that we're getting to hear, for me, my own voice, and to create space to quiet that noise and to solve the problems that are really important to me versus the problems that get pushed on me or marketed to me.
Okay. And then what can an entrepreneur get out of a mastermind?
Meaningful long-term relationships, people that have their best interests in mind and aren't trying to sell them something. Clarity, alignment. And I think, one of the things that come up for me is there's a Mark Twain quote that I think is really powerful. It's not what you don't know that's going to hurt you. It's what you know that isn't so. And I think it can be really challenging to figure out what is it that we know that isn't so. And a mastermind is an environment where high achievers and successful people can be challenged in a way that is highly valuable to them.
Wow. And then lastly, what is the difference between discipline and flow?
Discipline and flow. There's a framework, a mental model around this that I really like. It's a 3-layer framework. The first is pleasure seeking. The second is goal seeking, or discipline, and then the third is flow. And so, I think potentially the majority of the population is pleasure seeking. I think for a lot of my life, I fell into that category, and it didn't serve me in accomplishing my goals. And so I had to really focus on discipline. As Jocko Willink says, who's a Navy SEAL and a successful entrepreneur, or was a Navy SEAL and now a successful entrepreneur, says that discipline equals freedom. And I think there's a next level that once we learn to enjoy the habits and the discipline, we can move to another level, which is more of a self-actualized flow.
Okay. Thank you so very much. And then what is your favorite coffee or hot beverage?
Ooh, I like matcha tea.
Matcha, delicious. Yes. Perfect. And do you go by Zachary or Parker, or both?
My full name is Zachary Parker Harris, and I go by my middle name Parker. But
Parker. Okay.
My mother calls me Zachary, so I still respond to it.
Okay. Okay. So Parker, could you please just leave with our audience your social media handles?
It's Zachary Parker Harris.
Okay. Is that it? Your social media handle? Is it Zachary Parker Harris?
It is.
Okay, it's really easy. All right, thank you so much for your delightful and perfect. I love the answers you're giving. Thank you so much. I think it's going to be very helpful to entrepreneurs, and also why it's important to have a mastermind for support. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you so. Thank you, Zachary.
My pleasure, Camille.
All right, bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, everyone. So that was the marvelous Parker. Sorry, I think I called him Zachary Parker. Well, such cool names. But I just want to thank him. It's a very happy Friday. I'm very glad he was here. I hope that those of us who are entrepreneurs were really paying attention and are going to seek out even further support. And you could go to Junto. I think it's Junto, JUNTO.global. Okay, and find out more about how you can how you can hook up, looks like, with the Mastermind of curated entrepreneurs who challenge and support each other's personal and professional success. Okay, it's very important for us to be successful as entrepreneurs and or capitalists. Okay, so have a great Friday, everyone. Thank you again, Parker. Thank you, Parker. And bye for now, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. You can listen to a copy of this interview at coffeechatwithcamille.com. And also, I'm probably not going to put the episode out until tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, but it's probably going to be Sunday because I have lots of episodes to release. And that's it. That's all for now. Thank you very much again for listening to Coffee Chat with Camille. And we had a very special guest with the title was How to Become Wealthy and Stay Healthy with Zachary Parker Harris, or Parker. Thank you for now, everyone. Bye.